Hey guys, it's Adaire Byerly, More Than a Model. We have Shaun Balkum coming in today, and I don't know if you guys know about him, but I call him the Pose King. He's very good at what he does, so y'all stay tuned, check it out. And here he is. Split up on me! Can you please tell me, and everyone else who's watching, how you got started in modeling?
Pretty much like the basic model. We got discovered at the mall. I got discovered at the mall. And,
oh my gosh, I remember those.
and pretty much after I graduated high school, I started working at Abercrombie and Fitch. And I was always kind of obsessed with like the campaign stuff that they had, because my main thing was, I was trying to already get into the industry, but I didn't know how to. But I felt like Abercrombie Fitch was maybe a door opener. I was like, maybe they'll come and see me and they'll be like,
didn't they have roles where you could be like the model of the store? Like, not like stand there, but they kind of want you to look a certain way in order to work there. Yeah, I remember, because I worked there for like 2 months.
Oh, so you already know. Like, they have their standards, their model standards, and then they have, on Black Friday and all that stuff. And they have like the models come out, take off the shirt, and just rock some pants with some flip-flops on, and I wasn't able to get to do that, sadly, because I was tattooed up. That was back when it was a very conservative brand, but now they're starting to open up a little bit. Anyways, getting off track a little bit, but I got discovered there. Some girl just randomly just pulled up, and she was like, "Hey, do you model?" I was like, "No." She's like, "Would you like to?" I was like, "Yeah." I never really figured out how to really get onto that, so I would definitely be down to do that. So from there, she was like, okay, took my information, contacted the photographer, set up a whole shoot for me. And pretty much I did the shoot, and I actually enjoyed it. Like, I really enjoyed it. At first I was nervous. Of course, the nerves got ahead of me. I was just like, I'm actually about to do it. I'm actually really going for it now. At first it was just me talking about it, but now I'm actually putting in that action and doing it. And from that shoot, she pretty much started connecting me to casting directors, other photographers. And pretty much my breakthrough was she connected me with this fashion show in Houston. And that was my first fashion show. First ever booking, and ended up being a fashion show. And I walked in the show, I did the casting, got booked, walked in the show. And by the end of the show, the director came up to me. He was like, "Hey, what's your name?" And I was like, Shaun Balkum. And he was like, "So is this like your first shoot, or are you signed or anything? I mean, this is like your first runway. Are you signed or anything?" I was like, "No, this is my first runway show. I'm not signed or anything, but that's the goal." And then he told me, "You know what? 90% of these models here are signed, okay? And you did better than most of them." And after that, like, that kind of like boosted me, and he was like, "Yo, let's really get you involved, in the industry." So, and from there, he just started connecting me with other stylists, designers, and I just kept on going up from there. I was like a sponge. I was always trying to figure out new things with posing, from runway, facial expressions. Started to become obsessed with that life. And shout out to Shenandoah. Without you, love, I would not be here in this situation, because it was you that scouted me at Abercrombie and Fitch, and here I am now. So much love to you.
Is there anything about the industry you dislike, or if you could choose, you would just get rid of?
Well, for one, if I could, I would get rid of all the predators. Okay, I would get rid of those, people that just thrive off of trying to turn men, or that, because I read up on, and I also was taught that by a person in the industry, because some guys, they actually try to go for the straight guys, and they try to turn them, or they'll try to get them to pretty much sell their soul in a way to, let's say, for my example, when my first time in New York, I had a casting director. I'm not gonna say any names. I had a casting director flew me out there for a big show, and he wanted to meet me first. And I was like, okay, cool. I came out there, he flew me out. And I got out there, he showed me around, showed me to a bunch of big clients, and, made some connections. But then later on, once we left from there, he's like, okay, so you see this official, if you want to walk in this huge show, right? For New York Fashion Week. I was like, yeah, of course. Then he was like, okay, what you gonna do for me? And I was just like, what do you mean? He's like, you know what I mean? What you gonna do for me? And I was like, oh no. At that point, I was like, nah, homie, don't play that. Nah, I'm from Texas. Nah. No.
With the platform that you have, is there anything else that you want to use it for?
With my platform, I always try to not just promote my creativity with modeling or aspiring to actor. I always try to promote like that positivity, just pushing people, letting everybody know that really anything is possible. Just like the tattoo on my chest, it says, with God, nothing shall be impossible. And I live that life every day. I don't know everybody else's beliefs, but that's just what my belief is. As long as I got the higher power with me, nothing can really stand in my way. As long as I put my mind to it too as well.
Yeah, it's heavy. God's timing is perfect. Patience has a purpose.
What is a fact about you that sounds like it's completely false? Like nobody would believe.
I actually used to be in an orchestra. I used to play violin, cello, bass. You know this, yes.
I remember when you said, I was like, yeah, of course, I forgot about that.
And I loved it, and people sometimes sit in my car and I'll play like a symphony or something like that. I'll play, that type of music, and they're just like, what are you listening to? I was like, yeah, this is kind of what I listen to. I don't listen to hip hop, R&B all the time. Like when I just want to just chill or focus or whatever, or long day at work, especially long day at work, that's automatically what's going to go on. Channel 101.1.
101.1.
That's going Dallas. We say Dallas first station or first official station or something like that.
I don't know.
Something.
Do you have a philosophy of life?
My philosophy over life is really enjoy life as much as possible. See the world. Open your mind up, because it's so many things to learn from, so many things to be enlightened from, and my main thing, what I teach everybody that I mentor, is things can always be worse. So if you're going through this storm or you're doing this, don't worry about it. Let it happen. If it's out of your hands, you can't control it. Let that stuff happen and be on with it, because you letting that happen to you and then you take it in as a real negative thing and you start just being angry and putting negative energy out there. It's not going to do anything but hurt you.
Yeah.
In the long run, it's not doing anything for you. So my thing is, like, if something happens to me, I always know that I'm always figuring a way out.
What about you is it that you want people to remember about you? What do you want to be remembered for?
I want to be remembered for that guy that always looked out for the little people. Because I used to be that little person. People don't know. They see me and they just think, oh, he's doing good. He's doing good. He probably didn't, live that life. But I lived that life. I was homeless when I was 17. I ran away. Dad was abusive mentally and physically. Ended up getting my mom locked up because of some stuff, and she went down for it because she loved him, so she took the blow because he probably got longer time. So they ended up one day, busting in the house, took my mom right in front of me. I tried to fight the cops off. I was a little kid. I was probably 13. How old was I? 13, 14, something like that. Yeah. And after she was gone, all the love in the house was gone. I didn't get that attention from my stepdad. He was just either you go to school, come back home to this ranch, and you take care of these animals. It was it. And the animals always came first. Right. When she was the breadwinner. So whenever she got locked up, the cell phone store that we had open went away. The land, lost it. The house, lost it. Oh my goodness. Moved in with his mom, which is my grandma. And she wasn't, you know, rich and all that. She tried to do what she could for me because she seen that he was struggling to take care of me. You know, and some days I would go a day without eating, you know, or I'll eat some ramen noodles or something like that. And then it eventually started to get very intense with him beating me down, you know. Forgot to, let's say, for example, what did I do? I think I forgot to water the horses. That was an ass whipping. Just for not watering horses. I got one day, it was like the first time I was starting to get into sports. My first time was 8th grade. Got into sports for the first time finally, and I was pole vaulting. And I was kind of a natural, and I was able to go to district, and my coaches already knew I was going to win district. Forgot to feed the horses. Oh, you can't go. You can't go to district, I'm sorry. And like stuff like that, just another tear down at the tear down. And then, you know, with him just being physically abusive, it took him cussing out my grandma for me to finally leave. Because my grandma on my mom's side found out that he wasn't taking care of me. They seen like pictures of me. I was on skin and bones. She sent me a credit card. And he found the credit card in the mail before I could. And he was like, what is this? I was like, it's my grandma sending me, you know, some money. He's like, fuck your grandma. She ain't here, I'm here. And I was like, well, you don't feed me. He's like, what the fuck you saying? I said, you're not feeding me. Slap me in the face, you know? And after that moment, I went over in my head. And the next day, I waited for him to go to work. And I was like, you know what? I'm packing my stuff in the bags. Threw all my stuff in trash bags. And probably slept on the street for a couple of days until I hit up one of my friends that's affiliated with Bloods. And they didn't jump me in, but I was affiliated with them. You know, they, you know, just made sure I was fed as long as I came on the little runs with them, hit some licks and all this stuff with them. As long as I did what they needed me to do, they take care of me. So I went back and forth from hanging out with this friend's house and hanging out this friend's house, hanging out this friend's house. Nobody's available. Got to sleep in the corner somewhere on the street. Until my grandma found out and sent me a bus ticket. And after she sent that bus ticket, it changed my life. I went to Newton. That's when I moved to Newton. And it changed for the better, you know, because I'd probably be dead or locked up by now.
Thank you for coming and talking with me.
Thank you for having me.
And telling everybody how you were more than a model.
Yes, of course.
I love it.
I really appreciate you for having me today. I definitely wanted to like get my word out there, you know, and to let people know, like I said, anything is possible. You know, if you're going through all that stuff that, you know, like let's say my situation, if you're going through that, there's always a light at the end of the road. You know, you just got to make it through it. You know, it's just going to be a temporary storm as long as you make it temporary. You know, but like I said, I really appreciate you for having me on your talk show.
Thank you for coming.
Yes, of course.
All right.
Right on time when we lay to the